How would you set up a perfect life in America? That's what I'm asking.
That is a good
This
question,
doesn't have
Corey.
to be lightning round answer. It can be like
This
2
is
or
our
3
ending
sentences.
question. Yeah.
Yeah, our ending question.
Okay, I have to be honest. I usually don't think this way because I like to focus on what I can do and not what I can't and what society isn't offering. I really do.
Okay, so let's frame it like that. If you were to be setting up a family, if you were doing you're setting up your life in America,
Yes.
where you're going to be here permanently, you're not doing your awesome travel life. You're doing like what Christine and I can handle,
Yes.
Like, what would you do?
Hey, Corey. So do you have a beef heart or liver staring at you in your deep freezer?
What? How did you know?
Well, I've got the solution for you. Janine from Awfully Good Cooking has a free training which shows you how to confidently serve all of those nose to tail cuts, even if you're totally new or skeptical. Her free training includes why these sacred foods matter, how to make them taste delicious, that's the most important part, and how to start today without feeling overwhelmed.
Go to liverloverchallenge.com to watch the free training. If you decide to enroll in her course, listeners can get $100 off the full course with the code MAM, M-A-M.
Welcome to Modern Ancestral Mamas. We are Corey and Christine, two millennial moms on a mission to bring ancestral wisdom to modern motherhood. Okay, guys, this is part 3 of Mary Ruddick, and this is the juicy part where she answers all of your questions. We categorized all of your questions into different topics, and we're going to go through and just quickly ask them. And she will give us, just brief snapshots of her thoughts on all of these questions. So, Mary, welcome back.
Thank you.
Let's get started.
Let's do it.
Dive in. You go first, Christine.
Okay. I have never heard of this before, but this came up 3 times. And so I'm assuming you know what it is. Acromancia.
Oh, yeah. It's a great microbe.
It's a microbe.
Okay. It's microbe.
Yeah, I figured that's what it was. Specific dose for weight loss.
Usually we go higher for weight loss than we do for nervous system disorders. Nervous system disorders is 1 a day. Weight loss, sometimes I do as many as 6 a day.
Is this you can just buy it in a pill?
6 capsules a day. It's a birth microbe, so we should have gotten it from our mothers, but I don't really meet people that have much of it right now, and especially if we're dealing with obesity. It's known better in the obesity circles because it stimulates GLP-1 just like Ozempic does. It's actually nature's Ozempic, and it does it without the side effects that Ozempic can bring and the other peptides can bring. But I really see it shine in the nervous system disorders, I'll be honest, because it restores the mucin layer, which is where the good microbes need to live. Now, Acromancia eats very differently than the other microbes. It eats antioxidants like saffron and green tea. So it doesn't eat the starch, the sugars, the things that most of these microbes do. So you need to make sure that at some point in your day, you're having some berries or some herbal tea or some green tea or saffron, something like that to feed it. And these microbes don't colonize if they don't have food. So each microbe, you have to learn the food and then give it to them. You can take it 2 in the morning, 2 afternoon, 2 evening. The Vitamatic brand on Amazon, I find to be the best, and it's the cheapest as well. So some of those brands are getting very expensive, and that one is a very good price. So 6 a day if you really want to see weight loss now. But you can also just do 1 a day if that's what you need to do in your budget, because over time it will colonize and build and grow on its own. So it's up to you if you do it at a rapid pace or not.
And then the follow-up question to that is, does it eat the gut lining if it's not fed fiber?
Not that we've seen. No, because it doesn't eat fiber, that one.
Right.
It eats the
Those guys just kind of die off if they don't have food, as opposed to start eating us. It's more parasitic. Parasites tend to eat humans and human tissue, not so much the microbes. But that one can take 6 to 12 months to colonize. Like if you were born by C-section, so you never got that microbe, give it 6 to 12 months, not at 6 a day. That would be unaffordable. But, the 1 a day, definitely 6 to 12 months.
Fascinating. Okay. Nutrients. Do you recommend seed, quote, Seed probiotics.
It's
So
the
I guess
brand.
seeding.
Yeah. I know the
Probiotics.
brand. The problem with the brand in my mind, I mean, try it. Tell me if you like it. The problem is that they've patented their strains. So I don't know which strains they actually have. And when I've
Oh,
contacted
because
them,
they're patented, they don't have to publish it?
yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
Yeah.
So I don't know, like if I look at a plantarum of theirs, I don't know if I'm looking at like the WC or the 299V. And within plantarum, there's 22 different ones that are wildly different from each other. So it's not something I use in my practice simply because I don't know what the end result, the goal is of that one. But I know people really like it. So I don't want to discourage people from trying it. I'd love to hear what you guys experienced too.
What prenatal vitamin do you recommend?
Well, iodine is incredibly important before the first trimester to avoid thyroid and seizure disorders, both in the mother and the child. So I always like to do a good iodine. I like to build up vitamin B1 and B2 first before anything else. So if we have time, if the woman isn't pregnant yet, we work on vitamin B1 first. And you can do that through food by having 2 cups of pork a day. Obviously, if you're Jewish, that's not going to work. Nutritional yeast has it, but in that case, I would just go for benfotiamine and I would build that up. The reason being is that folate and some of the later B vitamins are incredibly important for fertility and the health of the child. And if you don't have enough B1, B2 in your body, you will not absorb the other B vitamins from your food, from vitamins, from anything. So I always like to do about a month of B1, then bring in B2, about 400 milligrams of that. And then after a month of that, then we might work on some of the other ones. A good idea though, if it's in your budget to test, is to do a SpectraCell to see what nutrients are deficient within the cell if you're trying to get pregnant. And if you're struggling to get pregnant, I would really have you focus more than anything on melatonin, because that's what gives you the good egg quality.
Okay.
That's fascinating.
So that's actually, though, that's not a specific probiotic. That would be, I mean, a prenatal vitamin brand. That would be like, basically,
I don't use
you
any of
need
them.
to, yeah,
I
dial
honestly
it
don't
in.
use them. I tend to do things more isolated. So I like to use a lot of food, but I would be more focused on the microbes, honestly, than anything else. If it was me, I would definitely be building up my B1, B2, making sure that folate and the other Bs are sufficient. B6 being deficient is a large part of why people have that incredible depression as they go through both pre and post birth. And so getting enough B6 is pretty important. But again, you have to B1, B2. But honestly, it's our microbes that produce and help us assimilate most of our vitamins. So you could be eating the best food, the best vitamin, but if you don't have the microbes to process that, you don't get it into the cell.
Mm-hmm.
So I would focus much more on replanting your birth microbes and getting the microbiome of the vaginal canal very, very healthy, both for the ability to get pregnant, right? Most people that one of the most common forms of infertility that I see the most is ironically so simple. It's not expensive. It's BV. They have an overgrowth that's changing that belongs in the vaginal canal, but it's overgrown, and so it changes the pH of the vaginal canal to where it neutralizes the sperm, and the sperm simply just doesn't even get to the egg. Right? There's nothing wrong with anyone's body. It's just an imbalance in the flora, in the pH. So correcting that, and then planting those birth microbes in that maybe you didn't get or that you've killed through antibiotics and things like that, because those are what produce your oxytocin, right? All these autism cases, they don't have their oxytocin. They don't have their bonding. So you need your BB536 and some of these other really important microbes for that.
Wow. Exercise, we already answered some of these in the previous episode, but specifically, what are your thoughts on cold plunging?
I'm a big fan of it. I like it in a softer way than I think is taught now. You know, anything over 3 minutes is utterly unnecessary. So I would do like anywhere from 30 seconds to 3 minutes at most. The goal of it is to boost your feel-good chemicals, to boost your brown fat over your white fat. And to, I think more importantly today than ever, is just to wake you up. It stimulates your ATP energy. So a quick burst is ideal. And you can do that at home in your shower. You don't have to get your hair wet. Yeah.
This is for women, right? It would probably be different for men.
Yeah,
No,
I was actually asking specifically for women, but
I would do the same for men too.
Okay.
I think it starts to get into more of like an ego competition, which is fine. I mean, men will get, they might produce serotonin if they're the one that like lasts the longest in the cold water. But I keep seeing people that are going and spending all this money on cold therapy, right? They go to these centers, and not to bash the centers, they're great, but you can use your shower. You can use your shower, and you can also just go to the lake or the ocean, and really you can get most of the benefits from all those things, even just with a bowl and some ice and putting your face in it. That works almost better. So it doesn't have to be hard or expensive. I think so much of what women at home really need is the ease and the simplicity. And the more we bring in, that's just another impossible thing for them to cross off their list.
Oh, that makes so much sense.
Yeah.
I don't need one more thing that I have to add to my list for every single day.
Yes. So I love waking up and doing a cold rinse right here on the back of the neck. I don't get my hair wet because that is a whole thing. Then you have to dry it. No, I'm not doing that. So I do that. I don't set up a cold plunge bathtub. No, I don't do any of that. I've been doing this for 15 years. Now, when I'm in Mexico and that's available every day at the beach shore, absolutely, I jump in there. But I would keep it simple. Most of the benefits you can get from your shower.
Okay, what about raising daughters specifically who are into more masculine sports?
Yeah.
How do we encourage them to still be producing those feminine hormones and that feminine energy while they're doing things like basketball or cross country or
martial arts?
My daughter does martial arts and she loves it and she's really good at it. But I'm also like, she's 11 and we need to be making sure we're still, producing those good hormones for her.
I don't know that I have an answer for that because that is really hard. And I was one of those girls that liked the masculine sports too. So I really get that. I would say in general, and I don't know if this is helpful, but you want to go towards, when she's not in sports, things towards cooperation rather than competition. So whether it's at home, activities with friends, you don't want to have as many competition type activities planned or even just as part of the family, ethos. You want to go more cooperation because that's the female hormonal pattern. So I would go more with that. I'd also have her doing things like walks daily, things that are not result driven are going to be really important. So going for a 45-minute walk every single day, that's not working on homework that has to be completed. That's not trying to win the game. That's not, any of those kind of things. Those are important. And I tend to see most of the hormonal issues come from the girls living in a more masculine society where we are kind of expected to be pretty masculine, aside from how we look, right? Every other way. The issues tend to come in the most around menstruation. So that's when more of that needs to be brought in. So, yeah. I don't know if that's very helpful. I'll think about it though, but definitely more cooperation type activities.
Okay, we're getting into diets now. And the first question kind of made me chuckle because I think I know your answer. Can a person eat keto or GAPS for life?
Yes. Keto in particular, yes. GAPS I wouldn't do for life, but keto, yes. Now, if you have to do GAPS for life because when you eat other foods, your condition comes back, obviously that's the better option. But in general, GAPS is meant to be short term. It's meant to be like 2 years. I did it for 6. You can do it for a period, but it does start to starve out some of the birth microbes, and you do want to be mindful of that. So it's not ideal long term. Some of the birth microbes really have a hard time if they don't have their food. Like Roseburia and FP, these tend to do a bit better if you have like green plantain and tapioca and some of these other forms of food for microbes. So that would be the one caution against that. Now, if you were not born C-section, it wouldn't matter. If you were born C-section, it wouldn't matter so much because you didn't have those birth microbes to begin with. But if you have them, you want to keep them. They're very valuable. So there's that. No, but ketosis can be done lifelong and is in traditional societies from the time someone is pregnant to the time they die. So their whole life cycle is in ketosis in many societies, and they are far more healthy than us. So yes, it is perfectly fine to do long-term.
What does eating keto look like in America? Because obviously it's probably not, I don't know. It's my assumption is that it's not what people are putting on social media.
Well, I don't know. I can say that there's like 100 different versions of it that I see, and that most people who think they're eating keto are not. You have to test your blood to know if you're in ketosis. And I would say most people think that if they just eliminate carbs, they think they're ketogenic. And no, almost every carnivore person, if not all, that have come into my office, they're not in ketosis and they're not eating carbohydrates. It's your ratio of protein to fat is more of what that is. And so if protein is high, you're not going to see it. Now,
and that's going to be different for each person is what you're saying?
It is. Yeah.
Okay.
And the healthier you are metabolically, the more protein, the more carbohydrates you can get away with and be in ketosis. But that's very individual. Most people have to bring it down to like 10, 20 carbs to get into ketosis, and it can take months at that. But then the body starts to get healthier and more adaptive, and you start to see more of that. So I can't say what I see here because in general, almost anytime someone has said that they're in it, if I test them, they're not. It's a bit of a skewed view. And because we have a lot of, I'm grateful for it. All the keto junk food, it's like delicious junk food. It's still junk food, but it is delicious. And we don't have that in other countries. So I get excited to come home. But because we have a lot of that, a lot of folks assume that if they're eating that and they're just getting like a salad with chicken or something, that they're going to be in ketosis. And really, you could just be low carb at that point. So you don't really have glucose for energy or ketones for energy. That's what Atkins kind of fell into. A lot of people by accident fell into that. Yeah.
What are you talking like? Well, okay. 2 questions about that. When are you testing? When is the best time to test?
Yeah.
And then we're talking like 80% fat, right?
I don't do percentages.
No.
So
okay.
I am going to give the advice that is going to make all your listeners utterly confused, but it is what I always do. I only test in the mornings. I don't care what someone's reading is. An hour after they wake, 5 hours after they wake, after they eat.
So you mean first thing?
First thing, before they shower, anything. Because even taking a hot shower, which most people do, that spikes your cortisol, which spikes your blood sugar. It gives you a different reading. So to actually get a baseline, I like to use the waking. Now, I'm working with a lot of folks that have very severe health conditions. And so I need to know the lowest that they're going to go. So that's why I use the morning, because that morning reading tells me that we're still in medical ketosis, even before they do things like shower. So it gives us a flexible range. But a lot of people won't use that. They'll always test later when it's higher. I think it makes them feel better.
Yeah.
Makes them feel better.
Yeah. I'm guessing keto while nursing. Yes. Already answered that. Mm-hmm. Totally.
Yeah.
Okay. Corey, what's your favorite way to cook liver?
To give it to my chickens?
No. Are you serious? You can't do that. Liver is one of the most nutrient-dense foods on the planet. Organ meats are loaded with B vitamins, CoQ10, iron, and more, like the superfood fat-soluble vitamins. Most people aren't eating them, but they were sacred foods in traditional diets, and they can support the body and increase energy and focus, improve your skin health, and help you age well. Janine from Awfully Good Cooking is the real deal. She's been cooking these cuts for her family every single week for over a decade. Janine has taught me personally how to cook liver, kidney, heart, brains, bone marrow, you name it. I know how to do it because of her. She has shared so many recipes that my family loves and eats. Her recipes work. Honestly, guys, it's incredible. I've seen her labs. Her bone density is in the 99th percentile. She has tons of energy, and she feeds her family all of these cuts, and they eat them on a weekly basis. She's truly a testament to nose to tail eating.
Our Modern Ancestral Mamas listeners can get $100 off her full course on how to cook these sacred foods using the code MAM, M-A-M. Go to liverloverchallenge.com to watch her free training and learn more. Do you have any information about pots, pandas, that sort of thing?
So much.
That's a whole nother episode.
I know.
Got you. Okay.
Literally, the question is how to fix POTS.
I know.
Okay. POTS is an imbalance in the autonomic nervous system. right? And it is a rescue remedy from the body, typically seen post-infection with very specific types of infections, especially those that go to the nervous system and cytokine-based infections. So like what I became disabled with was a cytokine-based illness that went to the brain, right? So it damaged my nervous system and I got POTS, a very severe form. The way to get out of it is to rebirth yourself, quite literally. Your body is confused. It is, or actually it's adaptive. It's probably not confused, but it is waking at night and going to sleep in the morning. Everything is deregulated. You're not sending blood to the organs at the right time, which means you can't break down your food properly. It is a nightmare for which I wish upon no one. But basically what you have to do is act as if you just had a baby and teach that baby what life is. Be like, this is when we wake up and you get light in the eyes at 7 a.m. every morning. It doesn't matter if you went to bed at 5. You eat at exactly the same time every day. It doesn't matter how nauseous you are. You have a bite, so you start stimulating stomach acid and enzymes at the right hours. So you retrain that circadian clock. You turn off all electronics at night, which is murderous because I know you probably can't sleep with that when you need to, right? But that plus ketosis plus high dose B1 and a lot of lifestyle. You've got to get on a bike and do not go to physical therapy. I can't give you health advice legally, but I love physical therapists, but not for this condition. This condition, you want to do the exact same thing every single day. So you get on a stationary bike for 10 seconds if that's what you can muster. But you do that 10 seconds every day without fail on your worst day. It doesn't matter. And then you slowly each week increase by another 10 seconds. You never back down. You never take a day off. What that does is it starts to retrain your trust in your body that you can actually do things on a daily basis, but also you start to build the muscle in your legs, because one of the worst things with that condition is that you get this blood pooling, which causes the same kind of neuropathy that diabetics get, right? You see diabetics who have had their legs removed. That's why. You want to prevent that. And the only way to do that until you really rebuild your whole nervous system through like a keto GAPS intro, low oxalate, low lectin. I warned you it was complicated. You have to do like everything, but you do all of that and you get in medical ketosis and you very slowly build the muscle in your legs on that bike and no other exercise. You don't walk. Walking makes it worse if you can avoid it. You don't go in big box stores. You rest when you can. Anyway, that's a really big topic, and it's a super complicated, probably one of the harder conditions to come back from, but people do it.
Is that something that people could contact you about that you work with?
Yeah.
Okay.
Mhm.
All right.
Can you just tell us what it stands for really fast?
POTS, postural orthostatic tachycardia syndrome, which is really a misnomer because anyone who has it will tell you that their heart is racing when they're laying down. And you can have those POTS seizures when you're sitting in a car, but that's what it was named after when you stand up. And a person who has it is doing the equivalent of physical activity as someone who runs a marathon every day. So their level of exhaustion is no joke. It is not like I'm tired. It's like they can't pick up a glass. It's really significant. Yeah.
How would you help somebody who has food allergies?
Anaphylactic or none?
Yes,
Anaphylactic, I would do a microbial shifting diet where they're just on soups with no starch and no sugar for a period of time. I would also bring in antihistamine microbes like Plantarum 299V and ones that produce DAO. I would do those two things until it shifts. Yeah.
Trying to think. What do we do? What's the next one?
Okay.
Or maybe we pause.
No, I think we go to a couple of personal questions. So, where's your favorite place to shop for basics, like skincare, body care?
No, they actually meant clothes.
Oh, clothes. Okay.
Yeah.
I do want to know the skincare, body care stuff.
Okay, I kind of scour. I tend to go to outlets. Like if you can find a Bloomingdale's outlet, things like that, where the clothes are really expensive, but then they're on like clearance sale of like 90% off, you can get some really good silks and wools and things like that and start to figure out what brands you like. Once you figure out the brands that fit your body and have the good materials, you can shop for them online on Poshmark and just keep a notification. going for you. I've figured out a bunch of brands that I really like for my body and tend to have the right fabrics. So whenever I'm coming back to the States, I just look on Poshmark for those and I mail them to my dad. But he's always like, Mary, what are all of these?
Thanks, Dad.
And then I'll also get copies of things. Like I have these leather pants that I'm obsessed with. And I also really live in my clothing with how much I travel. So I have like 8 pairs of them just waiting, but I paid about 5% what you would pay at the store. So I do mostly online. There's very specific designers that are good about that, but general, like everyday stores, Intimacy is a store that has merino wool, silk underwear, silk bras, things like that. That's pretty easy to find, at least in major cities, definitely. So they're a good one to go with. I'm starting to see more and more silk knits. There's this brand called Mugi. It's expensive. This one's not cheap. It's Muugi, but they make really good silk knit underwear and athletics and things like that. They're in Japan, but they ship here.
So that's what I was going to ask you. Are you making sure that you're buying natural fabrics?
Always, yeah.
Always.
Yeah. Yeah, every great once in a while, I'll buy something without it, but it'll be for like a one-off event. It won't be for like regular wear. Yeah.
And how important is it that we find organic cotton or something like that underwear for our children?
I would go more for silk knit than anything else. But it is actually really important for children to wear either merino wool or cotton or silk underwear, to not wear polyester.
Does it have to be organic?
If it's cotton. I would. Yeah, if it's cotton, I would, because the cotton has all, it's not healthy. And it doesn't breathe well. Silk breathes really well. Cotton doesn't. That's why we get hot and it's sticky in the summer when we wear a t-shirt. So it's not the best, but it's not a problematic material. So you can do it, but I would do organic.
Silk underwear?
Yeah, it's the best.
Does it bunch up?
Well, okay, so it's really hard to find silk underwear that you can wear that doesn't give you underwear lines.
Right. Yes. I hate underwear lines.
I hate underwear lines. It's almost, I can't tell you how hard I have worked on this, like years of effort and an insane amount of money buying things that do not work. Like they do not work. Either you end up with this like underwear from Japan that is silk knit, but it's like it's made for kids. You know, it just cuts right into the buns. It just does not work. Or like, or it's all like lacy and like sexy and like totally uncomfortable and not what you would wear, and also shows under all of your pants.
Yes.
So does not work. So I have become obsessed with silk knit. And what I've found is that when I get the wrong kind, like I get the kind that has the really tight elastic, you know, I just cut it. I just cut it off. I just take scissors to it. And then that works like the seamless underwear. That works really well. So you can do that.
Oh, okay.
Yes.
Okay. What about makeup, hair care, body stuff?
Yeah.
That kind of
So
thing.
makeup, I actually just had in front of me. I was just making some. So I like to make mine from mica. But if you want to buy off the shelf, I would use Korean or Japanese. They have extremely strict laws around their makeup, and so they're next to edible. They're very close to edible. And I was floored myself, especially when I went to Korea, because I usually don't go to drugstores at all. And I went into this one and I ended up in there for hours because I was so amazed at the ingredient label. I bought so much. It was a problem. But so that stuff is really good. They even have like oil face washes, which I just wash my face with any oil that's around. It could be coconut oil, almond, olive, whatever. And then you can do a second, like a exfoliation with a yogurt or a dehydrated yogurt. If you have acne, you want to put egg yolk on your skin to regulate the sebum. But yeah, I would use off the shelf. I wouldn't necessarily go for the American non-toxic brands because they don't really have many laws about them at all. And a lot of times those brands are more about cruelty to animals than toxins. And so it's really easy to get misled. But if you go with any of the Korean or the Japanese skincare, you're probably going to be really good.
Okay.
Yeah.
We need to do the lightning round.
Yep.
Okay.
Perfect.
Okay. This is how this works. We are going to tell you, Corey and I will take turns, either a question or a phrase, and you just give us one word response.
Okay, I'll try.
The first thing that comes to your mind.
Okay,
So
very
hard.
challenging. Okay, I'm gonna try.
Junk. Oh no.
No, you know what? You may have to just do this because I have a crying kid.
Okay.
Oh, okay.
Okay. Are you ready?
I'm ready.
Okay. Thoughts on GNM?
On what?
Thoughts on GNM? German New Medicine.
I don't know it well enough.
Okay. Vaccines. Okay. How to heal eczema. I know.
One word.
One word.
Lectins.
Okay.
Avoid.
Avoid lectins. Okay. Corey, you do the next one. We just did how to heal eczema.
Oh. Okay. Botox, yes or no?
I haven't seen issues with it, but in general, I can only use one word. I was going to say in general, I don't like injectables of any kind.
Okay.
That's good. That's fine.
My turn. Heels.
Yes.
All right. Favorite place to shop?
Poshmark.
Poshmark. Favorite place to shop for food?
Fish market.
Ooh. Okay. Bioindividuality.
Annoying.
Annoying. Coffee.
Yes.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Favorite country you have ever visited?
I have three.
Say them quickly, and then that counts.
Yes.
Mongolia, Zimbabwe, Mexico.
Ooh.
Best way to calm the nervous system. That's not a lightning round question.
One word. One
Oh
word.
my gosh.
Dance.
Ooh, I love that. Oh no, you put my question at the very bottom of this list.
I did.
There's no way you can. Okay.
Maybe just end on this.
American trad wife movement.
Necessary.
Necessary. Are you tired, lacking zest and clarity of mind? Know what can help? Liver, heart, tongue, marrow, and all the other sacred nutrient-dense cuts.
Most people are intimidated to cook organ meats or think they taste gross. I get it. I was totally in that camp a few years ago. But guess who's here to save you? Janine from Awfully Good Cooking is there to help you gain the confidence and skills you need to take your health journey to the next level by incorporating organ meats into your diet. She can teach you how to prep and cook liver, along with all the other nose to tail cuts. It seems impossible, but with her methods and recipes, you will be prepping the most nourishing meals and your family will love them and eat them.
Check out her free training to learn why these foods matter, how to cook any organ meat, and how to make them taste amazing. Find her free training at liverloverchallenge.com and use the code MAM, M-A-M, for a discount on her full course. That's liverloverchallenge.com. Okay, and then I have a closing question, okay? If you were to set up for your, if you could set up a society, or not a society, but like a mini, how would you set up a perfect life in America? That's what I'm asking.
That is a good
this
question,
doesn't have
Corey.
to be lightning round answer. It can be like
this
two
is
or
our
three
ending
sentences.
question. Yeah,
our ending question.
Okay, I have to be honest. I usually don't think this way because I like to focus on what I can do and not what I can't and what society isn't offering. I really do.
Okay, so let's frame it like that. If you were to be setting up a family, if you were doing you're setting up your life in America,
yes,
where you're going to be here permanently, you're not doing your awesome travel life. You're doing like what Christine and I can handle,
Yes.
What would you do?
Okay, I would want a house in a sunny place, so that there's lots of outdoor time, and it could be cold or hot. I would want lots of people around, so I wouldn't just go into the woods. We're really not meant to be individual, alone from community. I would have it in a place that was less expensive so that I had more time freedom and more relaxation. And I would have it in a place where I could walk or bike to most things and not have to get into the car. I would have it in a place that has a natural food source, so either ocean or long growing season. And ideally, I would have it in a place where I could build things from the soil. There's a lot of homes you can build from soil and mud, so I would ideally do that. I think those would be the main things. But if I was building a society, I would have medical education and emergency works like water as non-negotiable mandatories for everyone, just to lower the stress levels. Yeah, because whether you want to use the medical system or not, I don't want it to be a choice of if you can. I think that puts people under too much stress, especially women and children. Yeah.
Awesome.
Mary, where can listeners find you?
My website, maryruddick.com. That'll link to everything.
And then do you want to just share about your foundation really fast?
Oh, sure. So I've got Cows for Kids. It's a project where we bring traditional foods into the schools of the tribal lands. These kids eat their traditional foods all day at home, but when they're forced to go to school, they're given very non-traditional foods, which is going to lead to health issues. So we just bring the food from that region into the school to help support their health, really. Mm-hmm.
And then the research.
Yeah.
The research that you're doing.
Research. Yeah, I've got a study going right now.
Yes, that one.
Yeah,
just talk about the study really fast, and where can people donate for this study?
I'll give you a link for it, what I'll do. So we have a long COVID study going. This is the second one we've done, but this was much bigger. And unfortunately, with the big changes going on, some of which are necessary, but in the process, all of the funding has been frozen. So we promised all of our patients all of these things, and now we're scrambling to pay for them because NIH pulled all the funds. So this is a long COVID cohort. It also applies for folks with POTS and dysautonomia and things like that. And we're working towards getting a really big one. Our last one had fabulous findings. I don't know if I'm allowed to speak about those yet. I have to wait until the research board gives me the okay. So this one is it starts with 12 weeks, core program. We're 4 weeks in right now, and we're hoping to still get to finish it. Ideally, our plan before the funding was pulled was to do a 6-month microbiome test along with other test parameters, and 12-month as well. We're looking at the HRV, we're looking at a number of different biomarkers and the remission rate, the retention rate with the diet, which is a really big one, right? I think one of the biggest things that gets poo-pooed when we start looking at how to reverse an illness, if a diet or lifestyle is brought up, the counter argument is always, no one's going to do that. And so one of the purposes of this is to show that people do all the time and that they can. So that's one of the main things we're looking at. But I'll provide you with the link if you can post it below. We would really appreciate any support at all. Yes, thank you.
Definitely.
Awesome.
All right.
I'm so thankful that you were able to join us again.
Thanks for having me. This is always so much fun.
Yes.
Thank you. All right, everybody. That's all we've got from Mary, and we love you all, and thank you for listening. Bye.